UN speech. September 2014, Emma Watson delivered her now famous He for She address at the United Nations. As the newly appointed UN Women Goodwill Ambassador, she launched a campaign urging men to support feminism.
Today, we are launching a campaign called He for She. I am reaching out to you because we need your help.
The speech went viral. She spoke about gender roles, inequality, and
When at 14, I started to be sexualized by certain elements of the media.
Overnight, she shifted from blockbuster actress to global activist. But that shift came at a cost. She was no longer seen as Hermione or a rising Hollywood star. She became a walking TED Talk. Critics accused her of promoting white feminism, an approach viewed as more performative than practical. Even some progressive voices said the speech oversimplified the issue and sanitized activism into Instagram-friendly messaging. The speech turned her into a symbol. And symbols don't get lead rolls. They get engraved on plaques and wheeled out at conferences. Hollywood took note, and slowly the casting offers got quieter. Turns out, saving the world doesn't come with a box office bonus. Anti-femme rants. March 2017, during the Beauty and the Beast press tour, Emma Watson gave an interview to Vanity Fair where she described the pressures of celebrity life as incredibly isolating.
Celebrity culture that we're living in, this celebrity obsession and what drives that.
This wasn't new. She'd been voicing discomfort with fame for years. She once said red carpet events felt like walking the plank. In another interview, she admitted to hiring a PR team to teach her how to be famous because she found it so unnatural. Over time, these statements became a pattern. The industry that made her globally famous was the same one she seemed determined to distance herself from. She spoke about wanting a simpler life, about rejecting the expectations of being on all the time, and even said she didn't understand why people were so interested in her. Fans who once saw her as grounded started to see her as detached. Studios, meanwhile, began to wonder if she was worth the marketing risk. Hollywood isn't kind to actors who look like they'd rather be anywhere else. She didn't burn the bridge. She just rolled her eyes at it until it collapsed. Feminist label. October 2015, Elle UK ran a cover story calling Emma Watson the voice of a generation and Bert the face of feminism. Hollywood didn't just support her activism, they packaged it. She became the default interview subject for gender politics, red carpet equality, and the future of the industry. Studios, magazines, and institutions used her as a brand. She wasn't just a feminist, she was the PR face of it. But the more the label stuck, the more the audience fractured. She posed for fashion shoots and got accused of hypocrisy. She spoke at the Oscars about inequality and was mocked for sounding rehearsed. Instead of uniting viewers, her image became a litmus test. Was she a true activist or a safe corporate symbol? In Hollywood, the worst place to stand is directly in the spotlight with no script. And when the only role you're playing is role model, the box office rarely shows up. Hollywood Walkout. February 2021, news quietly surfaced that Emma Watson had gone dormant from acting. Her agent at the time claimed she was stepping back to focus on personal projects, but the truth was already playing out in public. She hadn't appeared in a film since Little Women in 2019, hadn't signed on to any new productions, and hadn't walked a major red carpet in nearly 2 years. The press called it a hiatus. Fans called it a retirement. But in reality, it was a controlled disappearance. Interviews revealed she felt not in peace with acting, that she struggled with the pressure of fame, and that she didn't enjoy being a spokesperson for the projects she was in. She even said, "I felt caged. It wasn't a scandal, and it wasn't dramatic. It was just slow, silent detachment." Studios stopped offering roles. Her agent stopped making statements. And by the time anyone asked where she went, she was already gone. She didn't burn the bridge. She just let it crumble behind her while staring into the forest. Harry Potter, Fallout. January 2022, the Return to Hogwarts reunion special aired on HBO Max, celebrating 20 years of the Harry Potter franchise. Fans expected to see Emma Watson front and center. Instead, her presence was limited to pre-recorded interviews, no live participation, and barely any interaction with J.K. Rowling. It wasn't just scheduling, it was political. By then, Rowling had become a lightning rod for controversy over her views on gender identity. Watson publicly distanced herself, tweeting support for trans people and saying, "Trans people are who they say they are." The message was clear. She had picked a side, and while some praised her for it, others saw it as disloyalty to the woman who helped make her famous. Within the fandom, the divide grew louder. Online debates turned personal. Her absence from major press appearances, including Potter-themed anniversaries and award shows, became harder to ignore. And Warner Brothers knew better than to market around the tension. She didn't just leave the franchise, she left a political minefield and never looked back. Canceled films. July 2014, Emma Watson was announced as the lead and queen of the Tearling, a dystopian fantasy trilogy produced by David Heyman, the same producer behind Harry Potter. It was hyped as her next big franchise. But after nearly a decade of development, the project quietly disappeared. No filming dates, no trailers, no press. Just gone. It wasn't the only one. She was loosely attached to Greta Gerwig's follow-up to Little Women. Rumors swirled about live-action remakes and indie dramas, but nothing materialized. As her public persona became more ideological, the offers became more fragile. Studios don't bet $100 million on a lead who's more known for activism than acting. The shift was subtle. She didn't lose roles because of scandal. She lost momentum. Scripts stopped circulating. Producers stopped name-dropping. She became a maybe in an industry that runs on certainty. Hollywood didn't blacklist her. They just stopped hitting send. Public backlash. March 2017, Emma Watson appeared in Vanity Fair wearing a partially open lace top, showing part of her chest. The photos weren't scandalous by Hollywood standards, but coming from the woman widely branded as the face of modern feminism, the internet pounced. Critics, many Many of them, from the same circles that once praised her, accused her of hypocrisy, calling the shoot anti-feminist and contradictory to her message. Her response was measured, but defensive.
Feminism is about equality, and it's about choice. It's about a woman being able to say, I'm gonna wear a dress, or I don't want to wear a dress.
But the damage was already done. What started as a fashion shoot turned into a referendum on her entire persona. She'd spent years building a socially conscious image, one photo, one post, one misstep, and that image cracked under its own weight. From there, the scrutiny only grew. Her activism was analyzed for tone. Her roles were questioned for meaning. Even silence became political. When you turn yourself into a symbol, the public stops treating you like a person and starts grading you like a policy. Driving ban, July 2025, Emma Watson was banned from driving in the UK for 6 months after failing to respond to speeding notifications. The fine was minor, but the headlines weren't. For the first time in years, her name trended across search engines. Not for a new role, not for a speech, but for a traffic violation. The news came and went quickly, but it raised a bigger question. How did one of the most recognizable faces of the 2010s become a footnote in the entertainment press? The answer wasn't in the courtroom, it was in the silence that led up to it. No films in production, no public appearances, no big interviews, just the occasional charity panel, and now a ban from the DMV. To fans, it was a reminder. To Hollywood, it was confirmation. When even your controversies can't break page 5, the spotlight has officially moved on. Her comeback didn't stall. It forgot to put the car in drive. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you enjoyed this segment on Emma Watson, please like the video and subscribe for more Hollywood body count content, where we track every fall from fame, one flop at a time.